Firstly, respectfully acknowledge this project is on the traditional lands of the Bunurong Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. The much-loved Puffing Billy Railway is one of the most popular heritage steam railways in the world. It's a story of resilience of local volunteers back in the 1950s to restart it as a tourism experience. And we just take a short opportunity to, with pride, to note sort of the team's performance, and that team includes the client, ourselves, the consultants and the builders, in overcoming some sort of significant adversities, but not sort of impacting on the project. The first, early on, the design development, through a sort of a major investigation by the Victorian Ombudsman, the entire CEO and board were dismissed and replaced, which actually sort of set the project up sort of tremendously going forth. And then in construction, an entire sort of 270-day period, we were physically unable to get to site, which was sort of an amazing achievement, particularly by Emily, sort of who joins us sort of here today. In recent times, Puffing Billy has experienced unprecedented growth, particularly in the first half of the sort of the experience. The sort of second half only attracted 10% of visitors. To ameliorate this, sort of they decided to build a new visitor centre at Lakeside station at the halfway point, where a sort of contemporary functional centre could be sort of provided. In deference to the master plan, which proposes sort of a separate 2,500 square metre building, we thought for the building not to be detached from, but intrinsically grow out of the existing station. And we looked at sort of the platform as a way of extending that sort of station in a sort of contemporary way. Along this platform, the varied functions and operations of the brief are arranged, a form that regularly switches back to mimic the railway journey and creates desirable indoor and outdoor conditions, such as space for trackside functions and achieve the optimum outdoor areas. Often in tourism projects, there is pressure to build a new experience. The challenge for this project was to enhance the hero that already existed, the Puffing Billy Railway. Our strategy was to focus on and build upon the existing characteristics of the railway, creating a visitor experience anchored within the authentic sights, smells and sounds. For context, the line from Belgrave arrives at the existing station to the left, and the new building picks up visitors in a walkway that then becomes the building beyond the bend. The linear arrangement of almost carriage-like functions inside is simple, legible and accessible to the many types of visitors. From the left to right, we've got sort of tickets, admin, then retail, the cafe, which sort of parallels the track, kitchen and amenities, then multi-purpose, and finally the Great Hall in the sort of bottom right of the sort of picture. The four aspects that we sort of describe the building as is the platform as the sort of ground plane, these carriage-like functions, and then a sort of a linear continuous timber-lined walkway, and then the sort of the straight line cladding used for both roof and wall planes was really important in sort of anchoring all as one project. The design grows out of the existing Lakeside station and expands in scale. And what's important in this is sort of the system of primary and secondary steel framing. For efficiency, the sort of uniform secondary members along the trackside windows are all the same sort of size. And then the sort of the spans are sized to suit, enabling in the sort of the roof space. So the roof beams sort of go from sort of one size through to sort of the largest being in over the Great Hall to the left. The linear building suited a really efficient sequential construction system. The floor slab, steel frame and cladding were sort of following each other sort of linear along the building. Behind is native bushland. The station overlooks the popular Emerald Lake Park, which was once part of the largest plant nursery in the Southern Hemisphere. It's very much a singular object between these two landscapes. Hidden when viewed from the lake below, the darkness brings a curious presence. An undulating long form on the hillside, and a backdrop here to the railway crossing. The building recedes into the shadows of the native bush behind, and note in particular the serrated top edge of the cladding which assists this connection. These custom-rich flashings create unbroken standing seam ribs between the roof and wall junctions. The fast installation of the almost 3,800 square metres of Straightline 406 wall and roof cladding benefited the construction program. You see here we were so quickly watertight and into sort of the interior fit out. The Colorbond Monument matte finished cladding resembles the signature black steam locomotives, and occasional pleat-like openings in the enclosure hint at the interior. Further hints from a horizontal slot, the cafe terrace slides out, a sunny and sheltered space. And let's go inside. From here, where train and park visitors intersect. And a welcome into a freely accessible journey along a 150-metre long internal space, featuring nearly 3,000 square metres of sustainably sourced Victorian rough-sawn timber, with an imprinted rhythm of structure inspired by the long winding trestle bridges that are so important for the Puffing Billy Railway experience. Over 240 tonnes of structural steel was used in the project, and 4,300 lineal metres of purlins. See here is a really efficient framing to the otherwise timber framed interior. The walkway here inside kisses the outside level, then rises back up again, allowing a view from the cafe on the right over the walkway to the park beyond to the left. An intentional minimal interior palette consisting of honed concrete floors, timber lining and powder coated black structural steel. The cafe exposed ceiling is reminiscent of the work sheds that are dotted along the railway. And the cafe itself is an important balance between the views uphill to the left and over the park to the right. The nooks between key functions are in black express framing. These are flexible spaces to dwell, gallery spaces, chances to stop, rest, absorb information, interpretations, and watch the flow of people along the main walkway. Some have skylights providing alternative views back to the bush, a contradictory scene to the European park seen through the continuous glazed facade. And here is more of that continuous glass facade trackside and the timber enclosure. We collaborated with specialist lighting to design the custom feature pendants that run the length of the timber-lined interior, a light reminiscent of rail infrastructure, but decidedly contemporary in its form. Functionally, these multi-arm pendant lights provide the required ambient light, but are also positioned to specifically illuminate display objects. In an interpretive sense, the visitor moves from the wider landscape to a more specific journey into the world of Puffing Billy at the Great Hall. In the distance is Loco 3A, a 12-tonne salvage precious object of the railway that was installed, as you can see, very early in the piece, and the space was built around it. The undulating ground plane is carried through the internal spaces, such as this on the Great Hall. And visitors leave with a greater understanding of the stories of the railway, the people, and the place, including the story of the traditional owners. Moving back outside under one of those timber pleats and to the platform edge. The building alongside the new siding, a silhouette backdrop grounded in place and not overpowering, to the hero that is the Puffing Billy Railway. Thank you.